The movie begins with Barry Allen, who has been suffering from something he can't really understand. He finds himself in his lab, which turned out to be destroyed. Everything seemed just like the moment when he originally gained his superpowers. He branches at the restaurant where a waiter called Iris serves him breakfast. He is surprised she doesn't recognize him. Iris slips while trying to give him the food, but Barry Allen uses his speed force to catch it. Barry proceeds to get to know her over again, who replies that she is going to stop working in the restaurant because she finally landed her dream job, a news writer. He asks her to go on a date with him and she happily agrees, but this is where Flash problem begins to get worse. He finds himself in another world where he is in the middle of a fight with an android called Amazo, a villain who is a threat to the city. Amazo tries to finish him up, but another speedster saves his life. He is Superman, who insists Flash should sit this one out while he handles the android himself. There is something Superman doesn't know about this android which Flash tries to warn him about, but it is too late. The android already drained half of his powers and it once did same to the Flash. Just as Amazo proceeds to finish what he started with them, a guy who Flash describes as Robin Hood comes to their rescue. He is Green Arrow, who helps them escape with his car. Superman is really weak from the fight and needs urgent medical attention. Instead of Star Labs, he tells them to take him to a friend whom he trusts. They both took him to Bruce Wayne Mansion, who offers them hospitality, but Flash suddenly finds himself in Earth X, where he is making preparations on his upcoming wedding with Iris. Iris advises that he can help people without risking his life, and as example, Barry gives money to a homeless-looking man who warns him about the world's coming to an end. The man touches his head and Flash suddenly finds himself in Earth 4, where Bruce Wayne pays a visit to him with a child who he introduces as Dick. Bruce explains how the kid lost his parents and wants Barry to place him at the orphanage since he has connections there. Barry doesn't think this is a good idea because the kid already sees Bruce like a dad, but Bruce reminds him on the kind of life he lives, which will be life-threatening for the little child. Flash finds himself back in Earth 2, where Superman is undergoing treatment in Bruce Wayne Mansion after his fight with Amazo. At this time, there was nothing like the Justice League. During Batman's research, he finds out that Dr. Anthony Ivo created the android, and destroying it will be a big challenge because its proximity allows it to absorb and store supernatural energy. The next morning, when Superman regains consciousness, the heroes have a round-table discussion. In order to stop this android, Superman suggests about forming a kind of superhero club. Batman sees this as a terrible idea. Nevertheless, it is exactly what they are going to do. Not just the four of them, but Batman has other heroes in mind that can join the team. Firstly, they recruit a model called the Vixen, who has a necklace called the Totem that allows her to mimic the ability of any animal she imagines. Next is an alien friend of Superman called John Jones, who agrees to join as well. After Green Lantern captures some bank robbers, he is met by the heroes, but he rejects their offer because he already belongs to a team called the Green Lantern Corps. Superman informs the city about the new formed team of heroes who will be using the Metropolis Terminal Station as their headquarters. Since this whole team stuff was Flash's idea, Superman invites him to name their superhero team, which he named the Justice League. During the speech, Amazo attacks again. Flash suddenly finds himself teleported to the central city in Earth 3, which is in ruins. He spots a speedster robbing a bank and goes to stop him, but fails to realize that things in this world are different. The speedster informs Flash that he belongs to the Crime Syndicate, a team that controls the government. The rest of the Crime Syndicate shows up and they are introduced as Power Ring, Almond, Superwoman, Johnny Quick, and their leader, the Ultraman, who is curious to know where the Flash came from. Flash explains he's from a parallel Earth, but his story is trash to them because they don't believe there's more than one Earth. Superwoman wastes no time and uses the lasso of submission on the Flash just to find out he's actually telling the truth. Everything in this world makes no sense to the Flash because how can the Crime Syndicate be the government and criminals at the same time? Ultraman admits it's all because they were really bored, but not anymore, since Flash has now given them a precious gift, which is a challenge. Now they know of new worlds to conquer, armies of super beings to slaughter, billions of people to enslave, and a reason to fight. They try to force Flash to take them to the other Earths, and when they weren't getting any answers they try to kill him, but that homeless-looking man stops them. He is a sorcerer, and he turns out to be no other person but John Constantine, who shows the Crime Syndicate how their world will be destroyed really soon. We are suddenly taken back to Earth 2, where Amazo attacks the Justice League. While Flash is busy saving the civilians, he hears a voice of Amazo who assisted him in preventing damages on both the heroes and the citizens. Flash is confused why he shows concern for their safety when he is in the middle of attacking them. Amazo replies it's a faulty interpretation. His attack is contrary to his primary function. His primary function designated by Professor Ivo is to prolong and improve human life, but his mission parameters was reprogrammed by his new best friend Lex Luthor to drain lives. The android is unstoppable, so Batman had no other choice but to call in an airstrike. Metropolis will be turned to a war zone with bombs dropping from the clouds, but he assures the rest of the heroes that the citizens will be cleared out before that happens. Flash tells Batman to wait because he has a solution. The only one that can stop the android from Lex Luthor control is Dr. Evo, the android original creator. He breaks out Dr. Evo from the LexCorp prison, where he discovers that Ivo is suffering from Hutchinson-Gilford syndrome that makes his age to accelerate faster. Years back when he discovered about his sickness, his fellow colleague at the LexCorp, Lex Luthor, advises him to use his intellect to prolong his life. This is what led Ego to create Amazo, but he never knew Lex had a secret plan on his own. Lex reprogrammed the indestructible android for his own use. To cut the long story short, Lex commands the android to drain out every last power from the superheroes, making it believe it is a way of prolonging human lives. Flash arrives with Ivo to stop this moment. Ivo tells Amazo that all Lex told him was a lie. Luthor made the android believe that the energy they are collecting from the superheroes is what they want to use to extend Evo's life, but instead wants to use the collected powers for his own gain. Since Lex has already reprogrammed the android, it has no choice but to do what it is compelled to do, which is destroy all superheroes. To prove Lex's lies, Ivo tells Amazo to use the energy he has absorbed so far from the heroes to try and prolong his life. Just as the android tries that, Ivo dies. This is counter to his primary function as Lex's actions shortened Evo's life. Amazo tries to kill Lex for deceiving him, but Flash reminds him on what Ivo would want him to do, which is valuing human lives. Lex is arrested while Amazo also returns back the energy he had taken from the superheroes. Just like that, Barry finds himself back in Earth 3, where there is Thunderspark is everywhere. Obviously, this world is close to destruction. Ultraman and Superwoman tries to do something about it, but their efforts went in waste. Barry considers helping them out, but John Constantine tells him not to waste his time, because this Earth will be dead in few minutes. He describes himself as a man that walks all worlds that are doomed to die. This is his punishment for something he did so long that he doesn't remember. We are taken to another parallel Earth where an old Barry wakes up from his sleep after a call from his wife Iris. It is breakfast time, and Iris surprises him with his favorite dish, a meal he ate when he met Iris for the first time. They both celebrate their marriage anniversary, and they talk about their wonderful love life together with no single regret. Another universe is shown again where Barry and Iris are getting married. Just as they are about to say their vow, a strange portal opens with a supernatural being emerging out of it. She tells Barry that he is urgently needed for a mission. She introduces herself as Harbinger, stating how their world is in terrible danger. She has been sent to gather Earth's greatest champions for the mission. She teleports Barry and powerful heroes from all the Earths to a spaceship. There Batman meets Robin from another universe, and they are almost the same age. On his Earth, the story was different. Instead of taking him to the orphanage just like he did in his Earth, Batman took him in and trained him to become his partner. Not just that, in the grown-up Robin's world, Batman and Catwoman had a child called Helena Wayne. Anyway, we see other heroes like Amazing Man, Blue Beetle, Nightshade introducing themselves, but a man without a face called the Phantom Stranger calls them foolish for revealing their identity since they just met. Harbinger brings more heroes inside the spaceship like Dr. Hoshi, who complains how everyone here is dressed yet she had to kidnap her in her bathrobe. Harbinger shows Hoshi a fabricator that can provide her with any clothing she imagined. And as the Monitor ordered, Harbinger transfers the power of that belonged to a criminal called Dr. Light to Hoshi. Harbinger meets Dawn Star, who fails to recognize her. Harbinger changes to her real identity, Kara, Superman's cousin, and promises to explain what happened to her later. The Monitor later shows up later when the superheroes he needed for the mission were completed. He is a member of a race ancient beyond their reckoning. Before their worlds began, his kind has lived to observe and document, but never interfere with every event occurring in the known universe. But the Monitor has now broken his sacred vows, due to a peril so dire that it threatens all realities with utter annihilation. The Monitor informs the heroes that a massive antimatter wave so vast and destructive that it decimates everything in its path, it's on its way to destroy all the worlds. Just as he's speaking, this antimatter wave has already destroyed Earth 3, and the crime syndicate who recklessly goes to stop the chaos were all killed. That is why the Monitor has gathered the heroes so they can find a way to stop this disaster and save their worlds. The Phantom Stranger interrupts the Monitor with a question. Why should they believe any of his words? He kidnapped them and told them a story, and he just wants them to obey him and others to save the world. Batman is also curious to know why he mostly chose heroes from Earth for this mission. The Monitor explains that the Earth is the first world, and once it falls, the rest of the planets goes along with it. The other heroes are not ready to trust the Monitor since he is not giving them proof on what he said. But the Flash, who had witnessed the destruction of Earth 3, testifies that the Monitor isn't lying. Wonder Woman uses her lasso of truth on the Flash, which confirms their doubts. The heroes realize that they are completely screwed just as another Earth gets destroyed by the wave before their eyes. This isn't a kind of fight where they can punch their way out, but requires genius-level scientists to solve. They devise a way to create a kind of shield to protect them from the phenomenon. We get to find out that each Earth has a massive vibrational generator. If they could power them, the antimatter wave can pass through their Earth without damaging it. The speed of the Flash is going to be needed to turn on the generators. The vibrational generators are in Earth 146, Earth 2, Earth 4, and Earth 1. There is a huge problem as the wave begins to accelerate to their Earths. The scene then shifts to another universe where the old Flash lost his wife Iris to a heart attack. Before using his speed to turn on the generator, Amazo, who is helping him, thanks Flash for finally achieving his primary function, which is to extend human lives. The Flash immediately runs at full speed, which turns all the Earth's generator that made the Earths to be kind of invisible to the upcoming waves. Their experiment is a success as the antimatter wave passed the Earths without inflicting any damage. The civilians and the heroes celebrate. Meanwhile, old Flash is sad to see Amazo, who died in process of helping him save humanity. The movie ends with something really strange. Some of the heroes begin to vanish. It is as if whatever they did to prevent the wave changed history, so it's as if they never existed. Thank you for watching, guys. If you love animation movies, please subscribe to this channel and keep watching. Bye.